Heathen. All right. Yeah, I'm ready. Ah, shit. I just hit my knee.
Welcome to Late Breakfast. I'm Taurian B.
I'm First Class Regg.
What's going on, guys? This week we are going to talk about Jazmine Sullivan's new EP, not album, Heaux Tales. It's a polarizing project that many people have been talking about on the Twitter timeline, social media. It's very
Somebody's background, my bad.
Okay.
Somebody's background.
I'm pretty sure I know whose it is.
Okay.
So this album has pretty much made people feel some kind of way, whether it's good or bad. One thing that's undeniable is Jazmine Sullivan's voice. But before we get started, I want to introduce our special guests, right? Ladies first, we have, I'm going to say it right this time, Uchechi.
Yeah, Uchechi. Yes.
Uchechi is here joining us today, and I want to thank you for joining. And my boy, Comfy Cozy.
Nah, formally.
Yeah.
Formally. No more?
Formally. No more.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the name drop, so it's the real government from now on.
No, it's not, nigga. I know. Just refer to the Twitter, bro. MFC, bro. You know what I'm saying? All respect due to my man MF Doom Metal Face. You feel me?
Okay.
That formally shit.
Okay.
But nah, I'm glad to be here. Yeah, exactly. The podcast that formerly known as.
Podcast formerly known as Comfy Cozy Coffee.
What's up, y'all? What's up, everybody?
What's up, bro? What's up?
I actually really like that. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about Heaux Tales because when I heard her interview on the Breakfast Club, it was before the EP dropped. And when Charlamagne was talking to her about it, I didn't hear it, I didn't really grasp what was going on, because she explained that she got a group of her girlfriends and some women that she just like knew, and they shared their stories and she sang them. Like some of them were personal and some of them were other people's stories. And when I listened to the project, I was just like, wow, this is very interesting. Now, I think Jazmine Sullivan sings about heartbreak and relationships better than the average female singer. I think like she's up there like along the lines of like Mary J. Blige, and she also has like the pipes that some people say Mary doesn't have to get the point across, to get the pain or the feeling and things like that, and the songwriting. But I think what stood out about this project is that it could be a film. Like it's like a lot of R&B artists, when they make projects, like they might have one or two songs where it's like you can actually see a visual, but this EP sounds like it's the soundtrack to something that we could actually might get. And I know that her and Issa Rae are actually possibly talking about doing something, so we'll see. But I just wanted to get everybody's thoughts on the project, because I really thought it was important that we put a highlight on this project, because I don't feel like Jazmine Sullivan gets the amount of attention that she gets. So I'm so excited and happy now that she is like getting a moment and she's getting recognized, and she's just not known as, oh yeah, she could really sing, but like nobody knows her songs or anything like that. Like right now she's having a moment, and I wanted to talk about that. So who wants to go first? Who wants to do the Jazmine Sullivan Love Fest first?
Ladies first.
Okay. Actually, this is the first time I've ever heard of it being polarizing, so that was interesting to hear. Jazmine Sullivan is really good with telling a story with her projects. Reality Show was a project. Even prior to that, I can't remember the name of her album prior to that, but like she's always really good with telling a story. As you said, always good with talking about heartbreak and relationships. And she takes her time with projects, which is something that in this like microwave age is like really appreciated. As far as for Heaux Tales, as far as vocally, as far as a full project, I love it. Now the subject matter, some of it isn't for me. But I think as a full story, there are some areas that I could relate to, some areas like, I'm sure other women can relate to. You're right. It could absolutely be turned into a film. There's definitely a story there. I mean, that could easily be the soundtrack of Insecure or any other shows. One thing about Jazmine, I think, is that like you said, she's like a Mary J. Blige. She is like a Keisha Cole, but she's far more polished than they are as far as creating a project. And also, she's very contemporary in the sense that all her music just covers how millennials and Gen Z approach relationships, approach heartache, approach healing from heartache, and like, you know, all of the buzzwords that we utilize now, healing and therapy and I don't know, situationships, all those things are built into this project. And for that, that's made it really strong. And I hope this capitulates her in the way that she needs to be, because it definitely is a full body of work.
Agreed.
Go ahead, Reggie.
No, yeah, I agree basically with everything she just said. I mean, this is like easily the most concise EP I've ever heard. Like, it's so well put together. It's like, yo, are you sure this is a EP and not an album? Like, what are you going to do on an album? And I was listening to an interview that she did recently, and she was like, well, I actually haven't even thought about what I'm going to do for the album yet. So I am wondering if the way this is being received is going to put some pressure on her for the album. But I'm looking forward to the album too. I mean, the way this even starts off, like, it's so well put together. Like, everybody, all the stories that she gets on here to go into the next song, the Ari feature. I mean, we're going to get to On It, but man, it's amazing. Like, I just love this. I was listening to this morning, like, even hearing Anderson .Paak on what's it called? Price tags. That beat. Oh my God. Like, the way they killed that, I'm in love with it, but I am interested to know why you or what was it in particular that wasn't for you? Because you said there was certain songs that weren't for you on the album or EP.
Put It Down wasn't for me. Great song. Great song. Wonderful song. Love singing it in the privacy of my home. It's not a song that I think that anybody should live or anybody should be interested in living. Anybody should be, you know, I think a little men got a little confused when this song dropped and thought that Life is a Jazmine Sullivan song. It is not. So that song is a fantasy, you know. Put It Down, Price Tags bothered me a little bit, particularly Anderson .Paak's verse.
Okay.
When Lost Ones first came out, I wasn't feeling it. I couldn't quite connect with it. But when Rashida's Tale went into it, it felt like something.
Yeah.
I couldn't connect with the concept of, and this is not to say that women don't, but I myself could not connect with the concept of losing a man because of something that I had done, as opposed to something that he had done and it had been because I was selfish or because I was, you know, I couldn't connect to that. But when you have Rashida's Tale preceding it and you realize it's about a same-sex love story, and heartbreak, now that meant something a little bit more to me. That felt a little more genuine to me. Trying to think of what other song I wasn't too crazy about. And Girl Like Me, I think it was, I wonder when she wrote that song, Girl Like Me. I wonder if it was if it was recently, or this is a song that's always been in like the, you know, in the vault, and she pulled it out for this album, because I think by a certain age, there are definitely women that are more likely to gain the attention of men, but you also recognize that it doesn't have any, there's a lot, it's a lot more complex than it being a hoe or like a good girl, or it's far more complex than I think the song gave credit to. Still a great song. Still, there's plenty of parts in it that I think are really relatable. Like when she said, "I knew it was real when you blocked me." Felt that, you know. So like, been blocked before and been like, "Damn!" Like it's like this is it. So yeah. But yeah, Put It Down I put it down. I absolutely put that down. That wasn't for me.
Put it down. Put it down.
I left that for, I don't even believe in the concept, so.
Okay. Well, fantasy, like you said. right?
Absolutely. It's a great, cute song to play when it's you and whomever, and like you want to create a certain aura. But it's definitely not a song to live by.
I hear you.
Danny, James, what y'all got to say?
I like the album. I like that off the rip. Like, I kind of feel like it's for example, Bodies. I kind of feel like that could have been delivered from a dude, and it would have been still relatable. Of a song, you know, when you're going through your whole season. I think I like that there's a dynamic. You know, like Uchechi, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
It's like she said. You know, while she couldn't relate to other things, you hear other people that do relate to this. So I think it was dope that she went out of her way to get all her homegirls' perspectives and to write an album that gives multiple perspectives. And I kind of feel like, you know, as guys, we're not going to pick it up as much as the women are, but I think overall it's pops all over this. Specifically, I really love Bodies and Pick Up Your Feelings. And those are probably my two favorite standouts on the album for me.
So I love what Jazmine did in terms of reaching. I think that what she did as far as reaching back to this community, this type of woman that we have out right now. I mean, that's always been here, but I see this as her reaching out to the younger generation. A lot of her music has been, you know, it's been those ballads, it's been those love songs, it's been tales of abuse, it's been tales of obviously men, you know, not being shit and her struggles with that. But I think with this music, I love the message of her exercising her agency a little bit more. I love the message that she's sending in terms of being at peace with potentially who she is and who she's becoming and the decisions that she's made. I see the accountability in the music. I love that. I also love the vulnerability in terms of, you know, while Luchechi said that, you know, put it down isn't the message that men should be, you know, clinging to. Obviously, I don't, because a lot of guys were like, "Yo, you heard Jazmine? Yeah, but she also said you live at your mother's house. She also said that you broke. She also said like there's a lot of qualifiers that I think that you wouldn't want to be classified as even get to the point of what Jazmine said in the song. But I love that she's you know, with her, I think this is her third project, fourth project if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And she's going into her fourth album, and they're 4 to 5 years apart. And I think with Fearless coming out in the mid 2000s, a lot of times, like what Taurian said, her name gets lost a lot in terms of women who can blow, women with the pipes, women who can sing, great vocalists, great songwriters. And it's amazing that while she has a cult following, that she also positioned herself to also be at the forefront of the, you know, Gen Zers who are looking to, you know, find their messages right now and to find a woman or a vocalist who they feel evokes where they are in their own personal lives. I think that she captured that really well. I want to echo what Chechi said in terms of Lost Ones and A Girl Like Me kind of sound like towards the back end of the album, it trails off a little bit for me, just because I think that the message isn't as consistent. But what I will say is I think that conceptually it's an amazing project. I think that, you know, it's a masterclass in how to come back into relevancy and really, really announce yourself and announce your presence. And I would even say that the live version of this that she did for Tiny Desk doesn't blow this out the water, but I think her vocal performance in Tiny Desk pairing this together really should like highlight how talented and how amazing she truly is.
Jimbo, you on deck?
Yeah, I think we've all already touched on, you know, the message and the lyricism and the content, but I want to touch on like sonically how, to me, like this album was just kind of a master class in like how to reach back to the traditions of R&B and also kind of combine it with a more current sound, because not everything on this album is basically singing over a trap beat, which I love. And also, one of my favorite things about R&B albums is there's always that one track that's too short that we always wish was longer. And that for me is Bodies. And I feel like a lot of people feel the same way. But yeah, man, like I'm glad to see that she's introducing herself to a whole new audience. And I feel like there were a lot of people, especially, you know, Gen Zers, that thought that she was a whole new artist that didn't have any prior work. But yeah, like Jazmine's been around since what, 2008, something like that. Yeah. And it's really great to see her have a moment, like somebody had said earlier, and kind of really like it didn't even feel like an attempt to stay relevant. It just felt like something new and fresh and effortless almost. Like the concept was there, just the execution of it was really good. And yeah, I will say, like, for me personally, it did trail off towards the end. I was a little bit disappointed with the record she did with her, but other than that, like, there's definitely more good that outweighs the bad, if you can even say that there's bad. You know?
I will agree in that sentiment on the song with her. Like, I like how it sounded vocally, and hearing them do it on Tiny Desk made me like it a lot more though. Like, they killed it on Tiny Desk.
Yeah, I agree with that. I actually I think she smoked everybody who featured.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think she's a better vocalist than everybody that was featured.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Ari Lennox. I love Ari Lennox. But yeah, she did outshine everyone that was featured.
Yeah. Right. It's very smart placement too. I think overall the flow of it is a very good album overall.
When I was listening to this project, like, yes, I know Anderson .Paak is featured on there, but one thing that I saw a lot of people say is that sorry about that. A lot of people say that they would like to hear men also be on the track. So I was wondering, because I was like, wow, like, you know, like somebody said, like, every time women have a moment, men have to enter the room, right? Like, why do we have to hear the male version? You know, because some people were like, yo, like, would you like to hear like the male responses and stuff like that? And like people were saying, like, what males would be the responses? And then I was thinking, like, I mean, obviously, like that would be cool, but like I don't think it's needed. I don't think that it always has to, like, remember like when Her first came out and Him came out?
Him came out, yeah.
And it's one of those things where I was just thinking, like, damn, like, you know.
Can I just chime in really quickly and just say that whenever there has been a male response to a record done by a woman, the male response is always mid, but whenever it's the other way around, the female response is always way better. Like, it's crazy. At least that's how I see it.
It's more because the likelihood is that I'm not saying that men lack the ability to be thoughtful, but many times the responses are usually because men feel triggered and they want to respond to defend themselves from whoever it was. It's not even the song. It's not even about the song. It's about getting the opportunity to defend themselves for whatever they may, if they feel like somewhere in the song they had done something. And because we are in a society where men are allowed to say whatever, whenever they feel like it, men decide that they want to put out a response and it ends up being more so about their own selfish feelings as opposed to really putting out genuine bodies of work to complement what was already put out. Because I can see a really great male response or a male version, but you don't need it. And if you really did want to do that, it would have already been done based on whatever male experience, you know, whatever the other side it is. And frankly, we all know what the other side is because we have dealt with men. That's why the project exists in the first place.
I don't need to see men doing the Busset challenge. I just don't.
Right.
That's not what I need. But I mean, I will say the only thing that we had going for us in men doing a version of something was no pigeons. That's like the only thing. That's the only thing that like we have in some regard. I don't know if that can still be played.
I mean, that was good because it didn't come off as performative to me. Like it was just silly and it didn't take itself too seriously. It was just like, yo, this is funny. Like, you know?
Absolutely.
I think she could do a couple of remixes with men. I think she should be very careful in the men that she chooses, particularly looking for men who have similar vocal ability. Like, I don't want to see Trey Songz anywhere near this at all.
Trigger's coming.
I do not want to see Trey. I don't want to see Black. I don't want to see
Chris Brown.
I don't want to see Chris Brown. I don't want to see Bryson Tiller.
Wait.
She's already done a project with song with Bryson Tiller. That's good enough.
I want to see Sir.
But I think
right.
Okay, Sir, that would be fire.
That's good.
I want to see Sir.
Good.
I want to see Giveon. I want to see Galant.
Okay.
I want to see people like men. I want to see like if she could get Usher. I want to see Usher. I want to see men who could vocally stand in the same room with her. Okay. I do not want to see, Trap Soul. I don't want to see it.
And not just that. Also men whose pen can tell the story, who can really speak to the narrative. I think the reason why Chasing Summer is such a hallmark for us surf fans is that the narratives and the stories that he was telling, they were compelling, they were detailed, and they were highly sophisticated. Damn it. They were highly sophisticated.
I'm so sorry, y'all. I know like y'all want vocalists that can match her, but the only person that I want to see her collaborate with is Future.
I get it. I
need Future to get in there and do his spice, because even though what he lacks in vocal range, his pen makes up for it, baby. And when
that auto-tune can be crazy on that track, I tell you what.
This is very tongue-in-cheek of me, but I'm just saying, I think Future, but I just think that him and Jazmine to get in the studio and make some Marvin and Tammy kind of shit. I'm just saying.
That's a joke.
Nah, it's not. I think Future will get in there. Him and Jazmine come out with some award-winning shit. I'm telling you.
I can see.
I think Future's more than capable. I don't know if it happened with Jazmine, but I think he's capable.
I'm telling you, Future and Jazmine Sullivan are the Tammy Terrell and Marvin Gaye if they get together and they do something, man. Future and Jazmine.
So what do we think? Do you guys think she's pressured at all or feeling the heat at all from like how well this EP is being received? Because I see her all the time talk about how overwhelmed she is with the reception of it.
It is. So, I think it's a very big deal, because typically she gets, well, from on my radar, she gets notoriety from her singles. This entire project is getting the attention, and I think me personally, I think this is why she called it an EP, not because it's the length of some people's albums. But what she did, the way she serviced it, was like a whole album. And I think when you see EP, some people pay attention to the project as a whole a little bit more. And she didn't release it like she did. I believe there was I forgot what was the lead single, but like she promoted the project.
Lost Ones.
Right. She didn't promote the single that much. When she went to the Breakfast Club, she was talking about the entire project. And that was the emphasis on it. And I remember Charlamagne was really hung up on the interludes. And I think the reason why the interludes were such a big deal, because it kind of told you what was about to happen in the next song. So it kind of like worked out like a play in that sense. So that's where I was just like, oh man, this is amazing. This is great. And I really like that from what she did.
Agreed.
To her credit, she strikes me as a person who has held up very well against like pressure and hype. She's never, to my knowledge, she's never come out and passive aggressively complained about the label doing fuck shit or her not getting her flowers. So I feel like she would be perfectly comfortable taking her time with whatever she does next.
That's a good point.
Even this project felt like it was really well thought out, and like the reaction to it speaks to that.
Yeah,
she definitely did say that she was feeling that she didn't want people to call it an album because it made her feel extremely pressured. So she has talked about in the past how she does feel a certain pressure, but then also I think what happens is that her personal life has been so insane and that kind of overshadows a lot of the feelings that she feels towards the industry. So like a lot of her breaks are actually because of something personal that happened, whether it was a death, a breakup, dealing with a really, at one point she wanted to quit music altogether. And I think it's just like she has gone through a lot within the past, like I want to say 10 years. She's gone through a whole lot. And I think that she is finally at a stable place. And I think she's testing her stability with this EP.
I think so too. That's a good call out. Because she took, what was it, like 6 years? She took like 6 years in between albums, and it seemed like she was just chilling.
15.
I thought it was 4 years.
Yes.
Project was
2015.
2015.
Yeah. So she was just chilling. Oh shit! What's up, Mena?
We got Mena here, y'all.
Hi guys.
What's going on?
Sounds like the convo already started. Sorry I'm late.
It's all good. No, thank you for coming through. We want to get your thoughts on Heaux Tales.
Sure. I mean, you guys were already halfway through convo, so where are we picking up from?
Well, everybody already gave their opening thoughts, and then I went on this extreme rant why I think that Future and Jazmine Sullivan need to record a project together because it'll be a classic. What else? Yeah, that's pretty much where we're at with it. Like, and then everyone just gave their critiques as far as what they loved about the album. So I just want to know, like, what did you really like about the album? What stood out to you?
Yeah, I absolutely love this EP. I am 32 now, and I feel like the first time I remember hearing Jazmine Sullivan, I was like in college, and I feel like this is the first R&B album in a while that I really feel that I fully relate to as a grown woman. I think that it has a little bit of everything, right? Like it's called Heaux Tales, and obviously it has her talking greasy, but then there's also like moments of love, moments of loss, and just it feels really well-rounded and adult. And so I'm really excited about it. I've played it probably like way more than I've played anything on repeat that's new in the last, because I feel like, especially after 2020, I was really just finding comfort in my music. I wasn't listening to new things that often. I would hear something new just to say I heard it and then move on to repeat on the things that I already know I love. Kind of the way that you consume comfort food. So like doing that with music. And this is the first album that I've heard in a really long time that I feel like I can digest it over and over and I keep enjoying it. Probably after Chloe and Halle's album. Like those are the two albums. And I think it's funny because Chloe and Halle are so young and they're just doing something so fresh, but like on some grown woman shit and on some content that I really feel like, wow, I relate to this. I vibe with this. Jazmine delivered, like she knocked it out of the park.
I'd be interested to hear a little bit more about there has been, and I've talked to a decent amount of women about this project, and there has been a little bit of feedback from her earlier listeners who kind of feel a little bit of a disconnect because of once you, like, as an artist, once you have established a certain reputation for the type of music that you drop and what people know you for, I think that as a young woman, she's saying a lot about topics that older women can resonate with, right? And then now, as an older woman, she's singing a lot about topics. I know that Ivana just said that her being 32, she can connect with some of the she connected it from a thematic approach. But I think that there were a nice amount of women that I talked to about this EP, and they were like, "Yeah, it's catchy. Yeah, it sounds good. Yeah, but it's kind of shallow." Like it sounds great, but it's also a little on the shallow in comparison to her old shit. Like she's almost like this is like while this is very contemporary for her, I think that this could potentially be like a Hove moment for her where her fans, her day ones, people that have been riding with her since '08, look at this and say, nah, we prefer the subject matter that got you to this point. We understand that you're potentially trying
That's
to appeal
interesting.
that you're trying to appeal to the generation now, but don't forget about the people that were riding with you while this content was very unpopular.
So then, I mean, to kind of answer that though, my question would be less about like the age range that these women are in and more so like their love life and their status. Cause like I'm single right now and I've gone through tons of years of like love and heartbreaking ups and downs, but I don't always want to hear about that. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like coming into the dynamic of being in your 30s and lots of women that I surround myself with feeling more like in control of their lives and of their narratives and of their stories and taking appreciation from the things that they've learned to get them here. To me, that's what makes the album fun. Like, I don't always have to be like fucking heartbroken and crying about some shit.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. And I think it's two things. One, it could be, yeah, she's just growing up. She was a lot younger. She was experiencing life differently, which we're all human. And two, I think that probably adds to the point of her expressing and putting emphasis on the fact that this is an EP. So I don't think this is something that she wants to group in with her albums. I think on her albums, we'll probably get a whole different look that caters to that crowd that she's like came up with. So we'll just have to wait and see, I think.
I have been listening to Jazmine Sullivan since college, like Ivana said. And I would have to disagree with those women to say that her topics have changed. I think that they are still in the same vein. I'm trying to like if anything, I think her first two projects, Fearless and Love Me Back, I think that they were music by a young artist who admired older artists and wrote based on her admiration of those artists. Not to say that she didn't go through those things, but you could tell by the sound of it that it clearly had an older sound. It gave me very much like Aretha and a little bit of Whitney and like, gave me much of that. But then when you get to a reality show, you see Jazmine in totality. You see like Hood Love. You see like things that begin to be more of her age, more of her contemporaries, more of her experience. Mascara, what's the other girl? The Brand New, like Let It Burn, Forever Doesn't Last. Forever Doesn't Last was definitely written about a relationship that she was in that didn't, that was abusive, emotionally didn't work out. And I feel that reality show and Heaux Tales actually are like they kind of like flow in with each other. They make sense next to each other. So I think that's interesting that those women feel as if the content is no longer the same, or it's like, or she's trying to appeal specifically to a younger audience because this is more in her age range compared to like, this is specifically her age range.
This album also has Lost Ones and Pick Up Your Feelings. Like, let's not forget that. Like, it's not all just
that's
the
like
fun shit.
Yeah, that's very much in the vein of her older stuff.
Pick Up Your Feelings is amazing.
What's funny to me is that I always find it's always curious to me how artists aren't allowed to venture out and like the things that they do. Like some people will like make an artist do one thing or like have one sound, right? And once they venture out and do something else fun that they might want to do, that they might have interest in, it's kind of like that some of their like fans, their core fans will kind of like crucify them for it, being like, oh, like you sold out or you did this. And when I listened to this album, I didn't get any of that from Jazmine. I just felt that, she did a conceptual album. And I don't think there was anything wrong with that. So like, because I've heard the same things as that Minna has said. And I was kind of like confused. I was like, it's a conceptual album. Like she just did something for like fun. This isn't even like the real album. Like this is an EP, like she said. So like, and I think I think that she knows her fans well enough that she knew if she called it an album that she would get the backlash. So that's why she put emphasis on EP. So like kind of like give her a little bit of wiggle room to just have some fun and just be creative. So, you know, I find it very like funny that they still gave her or like have their critiques of saying like, oh, this isn't like the Jazmine that I fell in love with. And it's like this woman's voice, like, nah, no matter what, you can hear her singing in a fucking phone booth. It don't matter, man. She is still her. I don't think so.
And if there is any way to, like, she takes her craft seriously because vocally she's actually improved. And this thing, like, she was already amazing. And then vocally she has really like polished her abilities, like her ranges, her tones, everything like that. It was very well placed, very specific. You know, like, it's not like she, even if, let's say she switched up the content completely, she still gave a well thought out conceptual, like, let's say she was writing for somebody else, like this was still a almost flawless project, like, you know, and the reason that I would call it flawless is maybe more so for subjective reasons than actually truly objective ones. So like, I think even as fans, if you are truly a fan, you should recognize the abilities of, you know, your fave. You should also recognize when they excel, and then you should be also okay with seeing other versions of them or other parts of them, because it shows range. So it's kind of unfortunate that those fans are rather stay with 2008.
I also want to say, from like a point of me relating to what I want to make clear is that I didn't mean that like this is the first of Jazmine's work that I fully relate to. What I mean is this is the first R&B of the moment from like a grown woman that I relate to too. So I think that's important to know too. I think that alone proves Jazmine's growth because, like I was saying, I've grown with her as a listener. So she's the first person in my bracket, I would say, that's not like way younger or way older than me that released a project that I was like, yeah, I can relate to this music. I vibe with this.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm also really hopeful that she, you know, does the project with Issa Rae that she was floating around. Because it is a conceptual album, and I think it will be fire to see like more art and more life come out of this.
Mm-hmm. I think this is going to open up the doors for her to actually like possibly do screenwriting and get into the film industry, because I said this like 3 times while we've been on here, but like I'm really impressed like how she did it. Like this could be like a play, like, you know, and I just think that it's something.
The interludes are great.
Yeah, the interludes like are seamless, and I just think that like I'm really big on conceptual albums. I like conceptual albums. I like a story. I like for everything to be streamlined when I listen to an album, because then I don't get distracted. I don't feel like I have like musical ADD when I'm listening to something. So the fact that she did that on this album, I love that. Like, cause I was like, all right, cool. We're sticking with a theme. I know what's going on. All right, now another story is being told. It's kind of like really dope to me. So I hope that that's what happens. But with that being said, are there any more, you know, closing thoughts on this project? Like, you know, anybody got anything else to say? Anybody want to say the album sucked? No? Okay.
I think On It should be the song that people aspire to.
Yeah. I
think that people should consider that Put It Down is on the album, but then On It is pretty soon after. And they should really listen to the difference and pay attention to On It, because Put It Down ain't it.
I will say this. I did listen to On It a little bit. Well, not a little bit more, a lot more than I listened to Put It Down.
Because I feel like
Put It Down got talked about a lot, though.
It did, you know, unfortunately.
Well, people love Scandal, and I think it's just like that one grabs your attention because of the content.
I think it's just, I think she I don't even think she believed the shit that she said in that song.
Oh yeah, no. Of course not.
It was just something to, you know, it was just fun. I think that's what an EP probably.
She was talking her shit.
Yeah, it was just fun. She was just having fun. It's just like, oh, imagine getting some sex so good that, you know, you start paying niggas bills. That's
that was where I couldn't relate. I was like, no, I can't relate there.
That's crazy. That's crazy to me.
I was like, oh, okay, we disagree right here, Jazz. Okay, heard you.
What's wrong with that?
There's nothing nothing wrong with it. I just can't relate.
It's I mean, I'm not about to get on the, on the patriarchal soapbox, so I'm gonna leave that alone. But I just think that's crazy. Like in summary, that is crazy to me. Like, that's all
I'm not.
Godspeed to everybody who who is out there stigmatized. I wish you the best. I wish you healing. But yeah,
I aspire to lay down pipe so well that I get my bills.
That's quite the inspiration. Yeah, that's an aspiration.
Yeah.
Shit.
I think as men, we all should aspire to do that.
I too aspire to have my bills paid. Like, who doesn't?
Yeah, see?
Right. I mean,
hey. So, I aspire to that one day. I aspire one day to just be like, I'm gonna go pay a bill and it's paid already.
Better load up on that maca root.
Yeah. But Reg, you ready to wrap this up?
Yeah, man.
All right, cool. Everybody, thank you for watching. We'll catch you next week. I'm Taurian B.
I'm First Class Reg.
We'll catch you next time.